My name is Emily Holland, and this past summer I was very blessed to be cast as Kate in Taming of the Shrew with Play-by-Play Theater. I am here today to talk to you guys about Kate's final monologue in Taming of the Shrew. I think that this role and this monologue are both extremely challenging and offers up a lot more than what might initially meet the eye. She can often be seen as somebody who starts off very strong and then in the end gives up and is submissive and is tamed. That isn't exactly what happens, actually. If you dig deeply, you can find that this monologue actually represents her strength, her love for Petruchio. There are often people who say that Kate and Petruchio aren't in love. That's totally your choice and up to your interpretation. But for our purposes, and sorry, I keep looking down because I have my notes from the show. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so this is the point in the show where Kate not only understands the game that Petruchio has been playing with her, but is now playing it with him. She is proving to him that she now understands what's going on, and she's proving her love to him. She's kind of messing around with the women because, you know, she's saying all these things that these women would never imagine to come out of her mouth. But then you still see in one of the lines, "Come, come, you froward and unable worms." That's an insult. That's kind of old Kate peeking through. You know, she's still feisty. She still has a biting tongue. She's not just like a Disney princess now, but she's going through this monologue, basically teaching the others what she has learned, that if you want love, if you want a good relationship, if you want to be treated well, you have to do the same to others. Up to this point in the play, Kate has been seen as the shrew. She's abrasive. She can be quite mean, quite feisty, insulting. And these games that Petruchio's been playing with her are not to drive her into submission, but are to teach her to be kind and teach her that relationships need compromise, and that's going to come from both sides. Petruchio does not tell her to say any of the things that she is saying. She's doing it of her own free will. He didn't pull her aside before and give her this monologue to memorize. She wanted to say these things, and she means these things that she says. Whether she is letting some things just go, messing with the women, trying to intimidate the men, or putting them in their place. There's all sorts of reasons why she's saying these things. All right, so we have 5. Unknit that threatening, unkind brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes to wound thy lord. She's basically saying, she's talking to the women at this point, Bianca, her sister, and the widow. She's saying, don't look at your men that way, sweet cheeks. Smile, which is kind of funny coming from her. And in the first few lines of the monologue, she says, in reference to the threatening unkind brow, it blots thy beauty as frosts do bite the meads, confounds thy fame as whirlwinds shake fair buzz, and in no sense is meet or amiable. She's basically saying, if you look that way, it's gonna spoil your reputation, which is exactly what happened to her. A woman moved is like a fountain troubled, muddy, ill-seeming, thick, bereft of beauty, and while 'tis so, none so dry or thirsty will deign to sip or touch one drop of it. She's saying here that a woman moved to anger is muddy, ill-seeming, thick, bereft of beauty, and nobody, no matter how desperate, will deign to sip or touch one drop of it, will want to be with you. But again, this is kind of a show she's putting on for the people because she knows that the people are going to be shocked by these words, but also she does mean what she says. This is, again, her letting Petruchio know she understands that she's got to be kind. She has to put in the work just as he does. She can't walk around bossing everybody around, hitting people. That's not the way to get what she wants. Now she's going to use kindness, a little bit of bite, but she hasn't changed fundamentally as a person. She's just learned a different tactic in life, which Petruchio helped her learn. This is where she is calling out the men, Hortensio, Lucentio. She is saying, okay, so you want us to be kind? You want us to be there for you? You want us to be a good wife? Then you go do your job. You commit your body to painful labor both by sea and land, to watch the night in storms, the day in cold, whilst thou liest warm at home, secure and safe, and craves no other tribute at thy hands but love, fair looks, and true obedience. Too little payment for so great a debt. This is working together. If you want one side, the other side's gonna have to pull their weight. She's kind of calling out both groups of people here. And after too little payment for so great a debt, this is kind of where I envisioned the greatest shift in the monologue. I am ashamed that women are so simple to offer war where they should kneel for peace, or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway when they are bound to serve, love, and obey. Now, that's a lot to say. She's basically saying, I'm ashamed that women would ever want to fight when they should just be peaceful, when they are bound to serve, love, and obey. Now, all of us independent women in 2021, we listen to that and we're like, girl, what? But you have to understand where she's coming from. It's kind of a slap in the face to everybody who has doubted her, because Petruchio knows that she isn't, again, some fairy princess now who's gonna do everything he says, but she's kind of playing this little role for her family and for the other people in society, and I think that they're both getting a kick out of it. They asked for it, this is what they get, kind of thing. Come, you froward and unable worms. Again, she just said all of these things like, a woman moved is like a fountain troubled, and then she goes and insults them, which I think is wonderfully written. Shakespeare, good job. My mind hath been as big as one of yours. So she's saying here that my spirit has been as proud as yours. To bandy word for word and frown for frown, to argue, to exchange angry faces, but now I see our lances are but straws. These next two lines, super important. Our strength as weak, our weakness past compare, that seeming to be most, which we indeed least are. It works perfectly for Kate, for Bianca, for the widow. It says, then fill your stomachs, for it is no boot, and place your hands below your husband's foot. She's saying, suppress your pride, just be a good partner. Not even be a good wife. She's not saying get in the kitchen, go cook and clean. She's saying be a compassionate and loving, trusting partner. And so then at this point in our production, I get down on my knees it says, and place your hands below your husband's foot. And I did that. In token of which duty, if he please, my hand is ready, may it do him ease. Now, this is a really important part of the monologue, because this is just Kate and Petruchio. She's basically saying, as if they were in private, down on her knees, I will do whatever brings you comfort, because she's in love with him, and Petruchio would do the same. In our production, which I think was brilliant, is that when I did place my hand on the floor ready for him, Will, who was playing Petruchio, actually got down to my level and lifted me up. He didn't gloat about, oh, look at how submissive my wife is now. He didn't do anything like that. He got down on her level, lifted her up, and says the most iconic line of the play, now kiss me, Kate. He realizes what she just did, and he loves her for it. She loves him for ultimately treating her like a true equal, something that Bianca and the widow are not being treated as by Lucentio and Hortensio. I mean, from the very beginning, he has appreciated her biting tongue and her stubbornness, all these things that other people have called shrewish. Lucentio, actually, when courting Bianca, says that one of his favorite things about her is that she doesn't talk a lot. And Petruchio loves that about Kate. I mean, yes, were there some things that probably should be modified because she can't walk around insulting people? Yes, but she's real. She's the only woman that Petruchio has found that matches his power. He doesn't want a submissive wife. That's boring. He wants someone strong and tough, and that's what Kate is. He just wants to help her understand that if they're in a relationship, they have to work together, they have to compromise. Reason that this monologue begins. Now, all the men have made a bet on Bianca, the widow, and Kate as to who is going to be the most obedient, who is going to come when they're called. Bianca says no, the widow says no, and lo and behold, Kate shows up. It's not her being his slave, it's her being a good partner. Like I said, this monologue is extremely complicated, and if you don't really look into the true meaning of it and really dive into the relationship between Kate and Petruchio, it can be quite misread. It can be very submissive and kind of weird. If Petruchio and Kate are played incorrectly, the show can be very dark. If it's not played with humor and with love, the show turns into an abusive relationship where the woman ends up becoming submissive and be behind all her strength, which is completely not what happens. I love this show, I love this monologue, I love this role, and I love play-by-play theater, so I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Oh, fie, amid that threatening, unkind brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes, to wound thy lord, thy life, thy governor. It blots thy beauty as frost do white meads, confounds thy fame as whirlwinds shake fair buds, and in no sense is meet or amiable. A woman moved is like a fountain troubled, muddy, thick, ill-seeming, bereft of beauty, and while it is so, none so dry or thirsty will deign to sip or touch one drop of it. Thy husband is thy lord, thy life, thy keeper, thy head, thy sovereign. One that cares for thee. For thy maintenance commits his body to painful labor, both by sea and land, to watch the night in storms, the day in cold, whilst thou liest warm at home, secure and safe, and craves no other tribute at thy hands but love, fair looks, and true obedience. Too little payment for so great a debt. I am ashamed that women are so simple to offer war where they should kneel for peace, or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway when they are bound to serve, love, and obey. Why are our bodies soft and weak and smooth enough with toil and trouble in the world, but that our soft conditions and our hearts should never be our external parts? Oh, come, you froward and unable worms! My mind hath been as big as one of yours, my heart as great. My reason hath more to bandy word for word and crown for crown. But now I see our lances are like straws, our strength as weak, our weakness past compare, but seeming to be most which we indeed least are. Fill your stomachs, for it is no food. And place your hands below your husband's foot, in token of which duly, if he please. My hand is ready. May it do him ease.
Why, there's a wench. Come on and kiss me, Kate.